And for the record, is very pleased today to welcome Hamilton's new Roman Catholic bishop, His Excellency Douglas Crosby, who comes to us from Newfoundland, even though he was actually born in Ontario. And we're going to get to know the bishop. We're also going to get some opinions that he might have on various subjects and really welcome him to our community. Bishop Crosby, you've been in Hamilton now for about 3 months, I think, although you have visited this community on the invitation of former Bishop Anthony Tonus many, many times. What is your impression of our city?
Well, thank you very much, Larry. I'm very happy to be here. Hamilton is a wonderful city. Certainly my experience of the last 3 months has been pleasurable. I've met many people who are involved in the life of this community in a variety of ways, and I must say I've been impressed by the work that's being done by so many people. That the impact of the Catholic Church on this community is impressive.
Bishop, you have obviously been in Newfoundland, Labrador City, and you remarked in one of the interviews you gave that that city actually is based on the mining of ore that we smelt here in Hamilton. And do you see a similarity between the people of that community and our community?
You know, in my opening homily, I reflected on that because I love Labrador City. I live there. I was sent there as a young priest. It was my first parish, and and there was a lot of energy in the community. It was a young community, a community of hard-working people, and people who lived life and raised their families and did. It was a wonderful place, and I really do see the similar kind of people, hard-working people here in Hamilton, and people who work to make the community alive and excel, and that's impressed me.
Well, you know, as you get to know our community, Bishop, that impression, that first impression, I believe will only strengthen. Bishop, you were born in Marathon, Ontario, which is which is north.
Yes.
Way north, Lake Superior we're talking about.
That's right.
And you were born to a fairly large family, 7 children in the family, I believe.
You know, by Newfoundland standards, that would be a fairly small family, but yes, I'm the oldest of 7 children, and my father worked all his life in the pulp and paper business. Industry, and he was a hardworking man, one of these people who could do everything. He could build a house from top to bottom, and I was his gopher. I know what a hammer is, and I'm not sure I can use it very well, but I know what a screwdriver is, and I don't know how to use it very well, but I know what they are, and I used to help him with many projects.
Well, I suspect you're being a little bit modest, but what I noted in reading a little bit about you, Excellency, is that your family was very devout, and you attribute that, of course, to your faith. When was the first recollection of the calling to a religious life, do you think?
Well, you know, when in a small community like that, and in those times, it was important. Families were close, and our family was very close. And church was important, and so we were regular churchgoers, and I was involved as an altar server and whatnot. And so when the time came for decision making about what to do with your life, I was actually thinking of going into law, and I had the application forms to go to the university in London, Ontario, Western University, but I knew that I had to address the question about the priesthood. I said to myself, I've got to find out if this, I've got to do this now. I wouldn't want to be finding out later in life that I should have done that. So I gave it a try and started my studies and enjoyed it. I can't say that every day was of the studies was easy, but for the most part, I I enjoyed it and did very well, and I've enjoyed my priesthood. I've enjoyed the years up in Labrador. I've enjoyed my time when I was working in Ottawa. I enjoyed my ministry in Corner Brook and Labrador.
And here you are in
Here
Hamilton. I did note in my reading, Excellency, that when one of your brothers had his first child,
Yes.
you said that you realized then, you felt a little bit of envy,
I did.
and you realized then the sacrifice you had made.
I
Do you want
did.
to talk about that just a little bit?
Well, it was you know, one of those strong moments in life where it strikes you. You know, my family, well, my sisters had all had children, so I was the oldest. Then I had 3 sisters, and then I had 2 brothers and a sister. And it wasn't really until my brother and his wife started having their children that I realized. And his first child, I was jealous, and you know, for a short while. I mean, it's not something that is carried on. And I must say, I love my nieces and nephews, and I've often said to people that the title, you know, you have different titles, Your Excellency, and Bishop, and Father, and whatever. But I said the title that I like the most is Uncle Doug. And so I have wonderful nieces and nephews, and I love them all.
And I'm sure you do, but it does raise the question that, of course, has been talked about and has created some controversy even within the church. People who are devout but have a different feeling about whether priests should be allowed to marry and so on. Not that I necessarily want to get off on that tangent, but do you think we'll see a change in that in our lifetime?
Well, it's, you know, the law in the church as it stands now is that the church chooses its priests from those who have the gift of celibacy. Well, so that's where it is, and it's not a decision that I will change. I doubt that I will see a change in my lifetime. Down the road, who knows, but I can't see it happening soon.
And Excellency, you know, you came just a few months ago, and one of the issues that certainly dominated the headlines not too many weeks ago, and in fact I read a letter to the editor where even you, even before you probably unpacked, were criticized for being silent on the issue of the gay alliances in the Halton School Board. Now, Halton is Halton part of the Hamilton Diocese? It is, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
How did you feel about that topic, and do you have an opinion on that?
Well, you know, the school, the education system in Ontario is there are many partners. They call them partners in education, and I'm certainly learning quickly what you know, how those schools run, and I'm the Bishop of Hamilton, and I certainly have an interest and a concern about what happens in the Catholic schools in the diocese, and I would consider myself to be one of the partners. But you know that the electorate, parents and you know, Catholic parents and people who friends of Catholic education are the people who choose trustees, and the trustees have their particular responsibilities, and the principals have their responsibilities. Everyone has their own responsibilities as partners to create a system where young people can be educated, well educated, and can make a contribution to society.
Are you happy with the decision they made, Excellency?
Well, I'm aware of the decision they made, and I would say my role in all of this is to try to present a vision and a vision for Catholic education. And Catholic education is broader than is a broader reality than the Catholic school system in Ontario. That's part of the Catholic education, but it's a broader experience that it is lived out in the parishes and lived out in homes and across the country, well, in my instance, across this diocese.
Excellency, we're going to come back and pick up on some of those ideas right after our break.